Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Camille Prosperity out of Savannah, Georgia. Happy what Thursday? Yes, happy Thursday. Guys, as you come in, I don't care whether you are a live viewer or a replay viewer, you know what I want you to do. I want you to tell me where you are watching from. And something that we started that is new is drop your district, say your circuit. There are only 11 circuits in the United States. City and state is cool, but I want you guys to know what district, what circuit you are in, because if you're watching this video, you're clearly interested in consumer protection stuff, but you need to know how your area rules on certain things. So I need you to know your district. I need you to know your circuit. Also, I want to go ahead and thank in advance people who drop super stickers and super chats and support my channel financially. I love the comments. That's great. But for those of you who can do more, I don't care if it's $1, $5. Y'all have no idea how much that helps me, because these are not the videos that YouTube pays big bucks for. Okay. So oftentimes these videos don't make any money, and the time spent researching or stuff or cutting the video is really just out of the goodness of a person's heart. So I appreciate those who financially support, express their appreciation with their paper. So I see we got a few people coming in. I finally got my rights to stream to Facebook. Facebook had me barred for 30 days. Ooh, y'all don't know the trials and tribulations of trying to put out good content. But what I wanted to do, guys, is talk to you really quickly about some things that are going on. You have not seen me a lot on YouTube because I've been doing stuff with the Credit Crushers. We have the May session starting, and I'm telling y'all right now, if you wanted to be a part of the mentorship, learn from me, work with me, this is the time to do it. The May session is the last time. The price will be $597. After that, it is going up. I'm not sure how much, but it is going up. Also, this is the last session that I will do a a private one-on-one that will be included in your tuition. The one-on-ones are helpful to a lot of people who take advantage of them, but they're extremely time consuming to me. I thought they would be like 30 to 45 minutes. They've ended up sometimes being upwards of 2 hours. And that's super duper cool. I'm happy that people are getting help. However, as I bring on more people, so guys, let me tell you something. Hold on 1 second. Why is this not come? Oh, there it goes. So let me show you this screen right quick. And we're going to talk about some things and how not being a credit crusher is probably going to cost you way more than the price of tuition. And that's really the truth. When you go to, by the way, when you go to hellocamille.com, hellocamille.com, what's going on, Ralph Grant? What's going on, Jared Peterson? Right here, you can click credit testimonials and see some of the things that people who have worked with me have had to say about me. And this is where you fill out the form to be considered in the next wave. Okay, this is the last wave at this price, $597 for 4 weeks. Usually each session is about 2 hours for the presentation, 1 hour for the Q&A. And then there's some extra bonuses such as the Telegram group. And this is the absolute last session. Hey, Patrice, this is the last session where there will be a private one-on-one included. Guys, let me tell you about that one-on-one right quick. So I had a young lady who did a one-on-one with me Monday of this week. And this was her second one-on-one. Originally, I said I was only going to do one. But this was her second one-on-one. We did the first one, and there was a lot to clean up. A lot of people who applied for this mentorship have not looked at their credit report in years. And so they had no clue what was on there. And even the stuff that's on there, they're unsure about. And once they see it, it doesn't actually inspire them to take action. It for many people, they just want to close up the credit report and put their head back in the sand again. But this young lady looked at her credit report, saw a lot of mess on there. And we scheduled a subsequent credit report because the initial walkthrough was just like, hey, let's see what we're working with. And then the second one was, all right, let's follow up on the last action steps that we took. And guys, it was so interesting because we're on the Zoom. She had a collection. she thought it was for one thing. Literally on the Zoom, she called the company and found out that collection was for something totally different. There was so much, and of course, since it was on Zoom, it was recorded. And she got a lot of clarity, regardless of whether she liked the fact that it's on her credit report or not. She at least knows how to attack it now because she was able to get clarity on the phone about what that specific debt was for. And it wasn't what she originally thought. So she and I both were surprised and had good convo after she hung the phone with the person from the company that was reporting on the credit report. Now, she also did a chat. She did a chat because one of her creditors had the ability to do a chat feature, and I was able to feed her questions to ask because I was watching her chat on the screen. So I'm like asking them this, ask them that. Oh, get clarity on this. What about that? And she was so grateful for the experience. So don't sleep on these private one-on-ones. Again, the May session is the last time I will offer it. So if that's something that is of interest to you, if you feel intimidated by this whole entire process, then you really need to take advantage of that. There are other people who charge $200-$300, and I ain't mad at them. But if you want a private one-on-one with them, that's how much you have to pay for their time, because usually they've spent hours upon hours of research, conferences, doing things wrong to figure out how to do them right. And so I want to know from y'all, how many hours? Please tell me. Hey, what's going on? What is this? GUMA? Good morning, Virginia Beach, Virginia. Awesome. Now, do you know your circuit? Do you know your district? If so, drop that down below. If not, go to the handy dandy Google it right quick and look up and see what circuit or district you are in, since you live in Virginia Beach, Virginia. All right. So that is how you can look up the credit testimonials, guys. That is how you can apply to be a part of the credit crushers for May. Again, this is the last time it will be this price. The price is going up after May, and this is the last time that it will have a free private one-on-one Zoom session included in it. That will not be the case going forward. All right. Now, some of the things that I see that are going on, y'all, goodness gracious, some common consumer protection misconceptions. Guys, let me tell y'all something. There's a lot of people out here sharing consumer protection, doing selling products, selling information, talking to you guys about different stuff, and you guys are really getting confused. Some people are dead wrong, and they don't, maybe they don't know, maybe they don't care. I'm really not sure, but I'll tell you this. One of the biggest things I see that people are having trouble with is the fact that they are creating these cases. They're creating these scenarios and situations where they feel like their rights have been violated. And so they'll say things like, under you violated my rights under the FDCPA, which is the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. And they'll create this whole scenario and they'll cite everything from 1692 and spend a lot of time doing this, whether it be for arbitration or litigation. And then when they get there, they find out that everything is thrown out because basically you don't even know who you're talking about. You called the creditor a debt collector. So your whole entire claim that was based on the FDCPA is thrown out because you're talking to a creditor by law, not a debt collector. And one of the things that I see people doing is saying things like, oh, anybody who's trying to collect a debt from you, they're a debt collector automatically. That's not what the law says. That sounds nice and it sounds right, but that's not what the law says, y'all. When you go to the definitions for the FDCPA and they talk about a debt collector, they are very clear on the fact that if it is a creditor collecting a debt in the name of a creditor, they are not a debt collector. They're not. And there's actually been case law that has talked about this. If you have a debt with AT&T and AT&T is trying to collect on it, you can't bring a claim under the FDCPA and think you're going to win. If you got a ticket from toll booth, excuse me, unless they actually turned it over to a third party whose primary purpose is to collect debts on behalf of another. That's the only reason, that's the only way that you have a FDCPA claim. And guys, I know a lot of people don't want to read. They want people to just feed them the information, give them the answers, but that's not how this works. This is why you're seeing so many people saying, oh, consumer protection stuff doesn't work, because they haven't put the work in. It takes a long, long time. And by the way, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a paralegal. I'm none of those things. I'm just a country girl who has read and sought understanding to really learn how to do this stuff right. I can't stand it when people do stuff half booty. If you want to do it half booty, just don't do it at all. Because then what ends up happening is you will say that something doesn't work when it does, and then you'll mess up other people. So either go full balls to the wall or just stay out of this. Just stay out of it. I'm going to be honest with you. This case right here is a Supreme Court case, Obadusky versus McCarthy and Holthus. You can look it up for yourself, okay? You can look it up for yourself and read about it, because they talk about the definition of a debt collector, okay? And many of you are lost in the sauce because you don't even understand who is who and what is what, all right? Look, I love that you did that. He actually took the time. Look at you representing this at second district. Awesome. So guys, from now on, when you come in my stream, I'm gonna need you to do a little bit of work. Don't just come in here and kick up your heels and eat your popcorn and watch me. Tell me, drop your district, say your circuit. So GUM, I don't know how to say that. But he is in the second district. Good job. GWM. That's what it is. GWM. Oh, GWM. Y'all, everybody's so creative. Isn't that what the girl says when she's analyzing the cooking? Everybody's so creative with their YouTube channel names. So if you're watching with me live, I just dropped the link to this Supreme Court case, which I just now realized I wasn't even showing y'all. So let me share this tab instead. And this is a Supreme Court case. I put the link to the PDF, guys. Did it share? Oh, it's quite a delay. I put the link to the PDF so you can look it up for yourself. Yes, it's 20 pages. But guys, this is how you really see the law play out in action. Stop listening to people on YouTube just read stuff to you. Stop listening to people play Mother Goose and start looking at how these actions really play out for your respective districts or circuits, because different judges rule differently in certain areas, and you need to know how your judges rock, so you can go into court rolling the right way. But this is a Supreme Court opinion. If you're really, really true to this, then you look it up and you read it, because this is where a lot of y'all are getting hemmed up, calling the wrong entity by the wrong name. So therefore, that dismisses your whole entire claim. And you worked so hard on it, but you didn't do the basics. I see so many people rushing to try to get a settlement check. They don't even understand the basics. I see so many people trying to understand consumer protection stuff when they don't even understand credit stuff, which blows my mind, because a lot of the consumer protection laws were put in place because of the violations pertaining to credit. So how are you putting, what is it, the horse before the cart, cart before the horse? I mean, how you doing this so booty backwards? How you doing this so booty backwards? All right. So look up this case, read it, and really, really get to understand the difference between a debt collector and a creditor. Some of y'all are losing cases because you're going in places saying that you are the original creditor. You got to be sure when you make those claims that you can answer all questions that are asked. I saw a YouTube video recently where a guy was like in his apartment for 8 months and he went to court. He had tons of papers on the desk. And the judge asked him, why haven't you paid your rent? And he was like, I don't have to pay any debts. All debts are to be paid by the United States. And the judge was like, well, what makes you better than any of the other people who are paying rent there? Why should you not have to pay? Well, it's a trust. They can access my trust. The judge asked him, well, how do they access the trust? And see, this is the gotcha. When you can't defend everything that you are saying, then you're going to lose. And you also got to realize, and John Watts said this, and he said it so perfectly. You also got to realize, just common sense, y'all. Do y'all know there are certain things like the judge who rules for a consumer with certain things, he basically might as well just, go on to the afterlife. Because once you rule in court a certain way, it becomes a precedence. It becomes case law. It is public. It's public interest. It can be looked up. So the first judge that is to rule a certain way and just be like, you know what, you're right. All debts are paid by the United States. Thanks for reading this. I've never had anybody come in my court and make this claim that the U.S. is bankrupt and all this. Yeah, you're the first person to do this, and you're right. We just haven't been reading. And the judge that makes that first, hey, you can stay in your apartment rent free. The first judge that makes that ruling and it becomes a precedence, it becomes case law. Do you know people don't oh gosh. No judge is gonna make that ruling, y'all. It will be their head. It will be their head. Do you understand? And many people that are going to court right now, going to arbitration right now, have not even been studying a year or two. And they're trying to make these claims that they heard somebody else regurgitate. And the person who regurgitated it, who heard it from somebody else, they're not going to court with you. So you're going to be solo dolo trying to defend what they will deem as nonsense by yourself. And you're probably not going to come out unscathed. You're going to have to pay whatever it is you're trying to avoid paying because you really have no legitimate basis that you can defend. And you're probably going to have to pay fees. So this is not something you want to play with. Okay? Understand what's a debt collector. Understand what's a creditor. Read these definitions and read case law, because that takes all of the stuff that you see in the USCs and it applies it to real life applications, y'all. All right. So that's that with that. Now, another thing I wanted to talk about where people are messing up. Again, I'm just going to be honest with you guys. Too many people are being lazy. I'm a part of some groups, and it's usually the free groups. It's usually the free groups where people just crowd in and then they're like, help, somebody help me, somebody help me. And I'm going to tell you right now, when you do things like come into a group and be like, hey guys, my vehicle just got repossessed. My car just got repoed on Monday. I was told that I can sue for this. Can somebody help me? People who know what they're doing, they're not going to respond to you because they can tell just by how you put up your post that you really don't have any clue about what's going on. And it's going to take too much time for them to help you, even if they could. And let me tell y'all something right now. A person who has put in the time to study this stuff and do it correctly, the last thing they want is to help dead weight. And that sounds cruel, but I'm just letting you know. A lot of the people that reach out to you will probably be trying to sell you stuff, and it may or may not be right. But mostly you're not going to get any help. When you don't even do the basics, a much better way to ask that question, hey guys, I just had my vehicle repoed on Monday. I live in Vermont. This is the case. And if you put a timeline down, this is what happened. According to my state, I see by the state laws, like, do you even know what your state says about vehicle repossession? In some states, they say you can come into the driveway to repossess it. In other states, they say you can't because that's considered trespassing. Have you taken just a few minutes to go to the handy dandy Googler and see what your state says about vehicle repossession? Because it's only then and only then that when you know what they're supposed to do, can you then backtrack and see if they did that. If they give you tracking numbers, right? If they gave you tracking numbers, did you track the tracking numbers? Did you take the time to look up the tracking numbers to see if they were valid? There have been some instances where people are like, yeah, I did get that in the mail. I did get that in the mail. And then when they go to look it up, it's not even pertaining to anything. But now that you've already confirmed that you got that information, you can't go back and be like, wait a minute. It doesn't work like that. Do you know what all of the notices they're supposed to send you for a repossession in your state? Because if you come into a group where people are offering to help you and you already know that, and you said, I got this notice, I didn't get that notice, I've already sent them a letter. I said in the letter that I wanted this. And if this did not happen in 30 days as required by law, then I was going to do that. They haven't responded. Now I'm looking at, see, it's the quality of your questions is going to determine the quality of your answers. Now, somebody is going to listen to this and say, oh my gosh, that sounds like a lot. Yeah, it is a lot. Yeah, it is a lot. We're not taking our Whopper back to Burger King because it has pickles on it, y'all. You're talking about a whole entire transaction involving a repossession. So if you thought this was going to be easy, think again, friend. Truly think again. That makes no sense. So there's going to be some legwork required. And if you're not about that life, just say you're not about that life. It's okay. But just know it's going to cost you a lot of money when you either decide not to do this or you decide not to do it correctly. Okay. And literally all you have to do, this is the FTC's website. This is a general vehicle repossession type list. How they do it. Hold on one second, y'all. Hey, I'm actually on live. I'm going to call you right back. Okay. All right. Bye-bye. This is just a general list right here, guys, of some things, but you want to drill down for your state. And again, all it takes is a few clicks of the button. If you really truly want somebody to help you, the way you can attract a person who knows what they are doing, is show them that you've done a little bit of the legwork. Because there's nothing worse than somebody putting up something like, hey, my car got repoed, got taken away. Can you guys help me? And then somebody posts something like, what's your state UCC laws? What's UCC laws? Like, if every single time I give you a piece of bread or a clue, you have to ask me to divine something, like you don't even understand the help that I'm offering, I'm not going to offer the help. And I don't mean me literally. I mean figuratively. Anybody. No, everybody is always looking to see, what have you done to help yourself first before I help you? Because if it's too time consuming, you got to create win-win situations, y'all. You cannot just come in these groups, okay, saying, I need help, with nothing to offer the person who you want to help you. And that's why a lot of you are either getting no answers, and then you're sitting up in the group with a pouty face talking about, I thought this was a group, each one teach one. Okay, if that's what you really think, then what are you teaching? What do you bring to the table? Since that's a favorite phrase that people like to use nowadays, what do you bring to the table? But it's really the truth. Now, if you drill down into your state's laws, this is where you can see and you will need to look up these codes. I chose Georgia because I'm in Georgia, but you'll want to drill down into your state's laws and see what they say about the repo process. All the time, a repossession is not just a matter of looking at your credit report and then the 3 different CRAs and saying, oh, they reported this date wrong, or they reported that amount wrong. And I mean, some of y'all are disputing stuff based on the cents being wrong, and y'all don't even know that doesn't matter. And so, yeah, no judge is going to throw something out because Equifax reported 10,252 cents and TransUnion reported 10,268 cents. And y'all look like, look, the amounts don't match. I mean, this is really getting out of hand and ridiculous. I'm going to be honest with you. So go to your state, see what is required, because like I said earlier, many of you are using you're calling the wrong entities the wrong names, which leads you to try to create a claim for them based on the wrong laws. So you're dead in the water before you've even gotten started. And then many of you just found out about this consumer protection stuff, and you're trying to attack a big circumstance, and you haven't even done the bare minimum that you're able to do. This is costing you. This is why in the Credit Crushers, what I do is it's a foundation. A lot of people are like, "Oh, Kim, I don't have that type of money." Here's the crazy thing. There was one person who filled out my Google interest form in February. They never did actually sign up for the mentorship. And as I told all the mentees these past few months, we are in tax season. Debt collectors, anybody that you know, they know that it's tax season and that you're probably going to get a tax refund. So this is where you see things magically appearing on your credit report. This is where you see lawsuits being filed. So it's so ironic to me that oftentimes somebody will not pay for something that they think is too expensive, and because they didn't get the knowledge for how to defend themselves properly, they end up paying way more in the ignorance tax. So they get a judgment and they just freeze up, don't show up to court, and that judgment ends up being, they don't show up to court, and that judgment ends up being a default judgment against them. And then they're trying to come back after the fact and say, "Well, I didn't show up because I didn't know what to do. What can I do now?" Nothing. Nothing. You had your day in court. You did not go. That's it. That's it. Now they can garnish you or take the next steps. It doesn't matter whether you're right or wrong at this point. You didn't show up. Well, I didn't know what to do. Well, that's why you pay. You pay in advance to prepare for these types of things. You pay in advance to prepare. Anybody who owns a business and has a lot of business expenses, they pay in advance for as an accountant, for accounting software, for those things. They don't wait until April 1st to be like, "Hey, how do I take all my deductions for my business? Because taxes are due in 15 days. It doesn't work like that. You don't wait till something is upon you to try to rush and figure out how to deal with it. I mean, you can, but chances are it's not going to work out well for you. So that's why in the Credit Crushers, week 1, we talk about credit and stuff that so many people, I've had people of all ages in that mentorship. And they're like, "I did not know this. I didn't know that's how it works. Oh, this explains why that." Because we got to get clarity on just the credit basics first before we go into consumer law. Week 2 is legal. Week 3 is disputing. Week 4 is building your credit. Hope and prayer is not a strategy. There is actually a science, a methodology to building your credit and getting people to give you large credit limits. You have to tell a story with your credit report, just like you have to tell a story with your claim. You got people out here saying, "Oh, I got proof. I got what they say?" Somebody literally said the other day, "Yeah, they violated my rights." And they said it. They outright said it. But I mean, I don't have a recording. Okay, then it didn't happen. It's not what's true. It's only what you can prove that counts. So we talk about that in the Credit Crushers. Building your story. How do you create a timeline? If you're going to arbitration and you're representing yourself pro se, you have got to make sure, because you don't know who the arbitrator is going to be. Either they're going to pick the arbitrator for you, depending on their agreement, or you're going to pick the arbitrator. And if you do, sometimes it might behoove you to get someone, and not everybody is well versed in consumer law. So it is extremely important that your articulation and communication skills are good, that your timelines make sense, that your definitions are on point, that you can clearly and concisely show how they violated you, why you have a right to go after them for the violation, and why you're requesting the amount of remedy that you're asking for. This is not a money grab. And we talk about all of that. John Watts talks about the fact, you know how many people have said, "Oh yeah, I got them on tape saying blah, 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 blah," and then they send over the link to him and it's blank. Only they were recorded speaking, but not the debt collector, because they downloaded an app and they didn't test it out first to make sure that it worked both ways, because it only worked one way. So guess what? He can't even use it. I tell the Credit Crushers how to avoid that. I give them a tutorial on recording from your phone to your computer, from your computer to your phone, to phones, vice versa, how to label it, how to bookmark it, how to link it, how to share it, how to have all of that stuff ready, because time is of the essence. If you find a violation, there's going to be a statute of limitations attached to it, and you've got to act within a certain amount of time. Otherwise, it doesn't matter. You can't take, if something happened in 1975, you look like a fool if you like, back in the day, this many decades ago, Sears violated me. Nobody cares. So it's extremely important that when you find violations, you create that timeline, you document everything, you have your proof. And again, if you're going to arbitration and you're representing yourself, you know how to do that appropriately. But if you go into litigation and you are choosing a jurisdiction where you need a lawyer to represent you because they know the rules of civil procedure and how to introduce evidence and all of that stuff, then what you need to do is hand over that information basically to the lawyer with a bow on it, so that they will accept your case and represent you, because they know the lay of that land, and that's how you're going to get the most money. Some people think, oh, well, I don't have money for a lawyer. You're thinking about this like small claims court where you're suing, I don't know, your neighbor because their kid hit your car. It's not necessarily like that. Okay, with a lot of consumer protection lawyers, if you have done your part and all you need them to do is be your mouthpiece and you have all your ish together, you don't even have to pay them, because they're going to take their cut from the winnings. So you don't need money to have a lawyer. All of these are things that most people have not done enough research to know, and therefore they're literally leaving money. Is this making sense to y'all at all? Consumer protection mishaps that are going on right now, that it's just a lot. It is a lot, but I'm telling you, anything else. So I'm going to call back. I got to take that call. Let me tell you again, if you want to work with me, this is the last time, and payments need to be made most expeditiously. I do not take work with everybody. With this being my last session, offering the private one-on-one Zooms, guys, yeah, don't miss this. Don't miss this, okay? The 4 weeks is $597 right now. This is the last time it is that price. It's been that price now for 3 sessions. And this is the last time that you will have a private one-on-one Zoom where I will dig down in your credit report with you, and we can tackle some things together. Because for many of y'all, the hardest part is just getting started. And the longer you wait to fix this stuff, the more it is going to cost you, because many people don't take drastic action on their credit until they need their credit for something. And that's the worst time to do it, because now you're trying to find somebody on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram to fix your credit real quick, and you don't know what they're doing. I heard of a young lady who got a credit sweep, and guess what? It cleared everything off of her credit report, to the point where she was handicapped because she couldn't even prove certain things about herself. Y'all do know that no credit is worse than bad credit in many, many respects. So if your credit report got nothing, not nada, and you later find out about this consumer protection stuff, and you're trying to go to arbitration, and they're like, wait a minute, we see here and that you filed identity theft and it wasn't legitimate, and now you have to defend that. Guys, you always want to have clean hands. There's something called a doctrine of unclean hands. So don't point the finger at a creditor or a debt collector and be like, they violated me, when you yourself has done some stuff that's dirty. That's not going to work out well for you in front of a judge or an arbitrator. And the people who have tried it, who have got their butts handed to them because they got judgments against them that had to be paid in 30 days if it was arbitration, or with litigation, they got a standing judgment. Those aren't the people on YouTube. Those aren't the people on social media. You're not seeing people come forth saying, hey guys, I didn't do my proper research with this consumer protection stuff. I took a lot of things for granted, and now I got to come up with $60K in 30 days. No. You know why those stories aren't told? Because they're not sexy. but they're happening. They're happening. You think you got a problem now? You think you're in a bind, Nate, right now? Fudge around and find out in arbitration and litigation, not knowing what you're doing. And I'm not saying not to take action, but what I am saying is stop acting like this is a money grab. Stop acting like this is your lottery, the modern day lottery, and start taking this stuff seriously. Again, whether you're a replay viewer or a new viewer, what I want you to do, drop down below where you're watching from and what circuit or district that corresponds to. If you can't even do the bare minimum to look that up, this ain't for you. This ain't for you, y'all. Okay? If you get tired of reading case law or you get discouraged because you don't know what the words mean, this ain't for you. This ain't for you. By the way, they do that on purpose, just so that y'all know. They make it confusing and complex on purpose so that you will quit. But anyway, I just had to do this rant because it's really bothering me how many people are getting caught up listening to the wrong people. Hold on. GWM, you said you need the link to work with me. Actually, see this right here? When I put your comment down, see hellokimili.com. You can't see the screen. I was looking at it. I saw the screen. It was a delay. Keith Clanton, hey, what district? He said, I really need to work with you. Okay, hold on. I know there's a lag. No, you have to take the call. Yeah, let me try this again though. Okay. Let me share my screen. Oh, you know what? When I share my screen this time, what I'm going to do, I'm going to look at the StreamYard view, not the screen view. Let me go back to the StreamYard view. Okay. There's going to be some lag. So, guys, what you'll do is you'll come to hellokimili.com. All right? It's right there at the bottom where my name is. hellokimili.com. It's also in the description box of this video. And that's going to take you to this page right here. When you get to this page, what you can do, look at some of the credit testimonials. I'm trying to get more people to give me testimonials. Shout out to everyone who has done it. It only takes a few seconds, but not some people shy, some people, I don't know what people be doing, but you can get an idea of how I rock and roll by clicking on these credit testimonials. Okay, it should open up to a Google Drive where you can just view some things for yourself. Okay, but the Credit Crushers mentorship form is right here. It's a Google form. Again, the price is $5.97 for 4 weeks. You're going to get about 3 hours every single week with me, Wednesdays at 8. Okay, this form is important because I need the right people. Ain't nobody trying to take your money. If you want to know about how to tell the cops, I'm not driving, I'm traveling, guess what? I don't want to work with you. Not because that's not something that, you know, I'm not mad at you for that, but that's not something I teach. Okay. I don't teach tribal cards. I don't teach, you know, authenticating your birth certificate or sovereignty. So in this form, I'm asking you those things because I don't want there to be any confusion about what I do and what I can do for you. If that's what you want, that is perfectly fine. But you need to go to someone else. And I'm not going to take your money just because I can. That's the purpose of the form. These are very easy questions. I made them mostly like click. You can fill this out literally in 2 minutes. Okay. But yeah, a lot of people, and you know what's so amazing? A lot of people in wave 1 took the mentorship, and the earlier you signed up, the more time you had. So people in wave 1 that signed up in February, they got free access. Even though a few people offered to pay me again for the mentorship, I didn't charge them. So people in wave 1 got to watch wave 2, wave 3, and they get access to wave 4. There was an interview that I did with Jay, a 26-year-old who got $62K from all 3 CRAs and Santander. And he did an interview where he talked extensively about his experience, how he had to get a consumer protection lawyer, how they initially rejected his claims, but he knew he had a claim, y'all. This is the real nitty gritty. Okay, this is where the rubber meets the road. This is how it really truly works out. Forget what all these people with shiny object syndrome are trying to tell you and sell to you to get you to buy a $97 template. The people who are really doing this for real, they can tell you some things that can really help you out. So Jay did an interview in session 1, and guess what? Everybody in wave 2 and 3 got that interview where they could hear his process, because that's what everybody's saying too. What did you do? Jay went step by step with what he did. He left no rock unturned. And if you were there live, now everybody who is in my mentorship will get a copy of the interview, but only the people that were there live actually got the replay. I mean, actually were able to do a Q&A with Jay and ask him questions to clear up any misconceptions they had. So my point is, timing does matter. Small groups, small rooms, small circles do matter, y'all. There are certain things that I will never put on YouTube. There are certain things that will only be in a private Zoom, in the private Telegram chat, for various reasons, all of which I don't have to go through. But IYKYK, if you know, you know. All right. So, okay, I hope you can see this now, GWM and Keith. I hope you can see how to work with me. All you have to do is go on over to hellokimilly.com and then click the appropriate link, fill out the form, and I will get right back with you. And it's very important that you guys do this sooner as opposed to later, because I think I'm giving serious consideration to having a Zoom this weekend for people that are starting class next week for the May session, and us preliminarily, is that a word? And us doing a preliminary review of your credit reports, and taking some of your questions, concerns ahead of time, just so that I can better structure this wave and build it out for you. Okay, everybody who has signed up and then watch the subsequent waves say that the mentorship just gets better and better. My way of explaining things just get better and better. The examples just get better and better. The material becomes more and more alive for them. So, and that's how it works. That's just how it works. So, yeah, guys, I just wanted to come on here. I hope you guys receive this message in the manner in which it was intended. I'm not fussing at y'all. I'm just extremely frustrated watching people who do want this, listening to the wrong people, doing the wrong things, and getting their butts handed to them, and being so much worse off than when they originally started. If you want to do this right. Track your hours. How much time are you studying? This is not something, guys, that you can just do for 30 minutes a day and think you're going to get a free car. This is not, don't go into a dealership. You know what? I'm not going to go down this rabbit hole with y'all. All right, like the video, subscribe, share. Again, thank you to all those who cash out or send any type of financial support, because YouTube does not push these videos through, and it does take time to do them. But it is a labor of love. Thank you to everybody who is taking the mentorship, who's getting results, who's figuring things out. They will tell you themselves it is not an easy process, but you'll feel so much better once you start attacking this stuff instead of running from it, y'all. Okay? All right. I will talk to you later. Thanks so much. And replay viewers, I want to know, WM said yes, filling it out right now. Some sauce. And let me tell you this too. For those, I'm gonna end with this. It's so interesting because those who filled out the form earlier, but they didn't sign up for the mentorship, I gave half of the people a call the other day, and I'll be giving the other half of people a call today, just to let them know that the price is going up, because I know that life be lifing. And it was so interesting. Some of y'all, it was nerve-wracking too, because it's so funny. I'm on YouTube, but I'm really shy. I can be very shy. So calling y'all, believe it or not, was kind of nerve-wracking to me. But everybody was super cool, very, very nice. I had great conversations with some of y'all that picked up. Many of you, I left voicemail, which was weird. I'm like, this is Camille Prosperity from YouTube. I'm like, I feel so weird saying that. But it was very, very interesting. But I said, you know what? If anybody took the time in the past to fill out this form because they had interest, most people take no action, zero. They just sit and complain about their situation. So if anybody takes any action, I said, I'm going to at least meet them halfway, because I would hate for somebody to see the video after the price went up and be like, dang, if I would have known, if I would have, it shoulda, coulda, woulda. And so, yeah, I reached out to some of you who had previously filled out the form, but not taken the next step to register. I enjoyed those conversations, and even gave some people who picked up free advice. It was free advice with some of the things that they were going through. I get paid in other ways. It doesn't always have to be right then and there. If I feel like a person is a good person and they're not trying to take advantage of me, I'm more likely to help them out, no conditions. So I enjoyed my conversations with you all. I always look to do my best to serve you guys at the highest level, but I'm not going to sit up here and just tell you what you want to hear for a quick buck. That's not what I'm about. Never have been. So y'all really, really watch who you listening to. And if they say that you can do something, don't just let them read you the dang on law about it. Get them to show you case law where a judge has actually ruled in someone's favor that what they're saying is true. Okay? I'm gonna say this one other thing. I saw in the group the other day, the girl was saying, not in my group, in another group, she was saying, I called the bank to get the late payments removed, and I'm having a hard time. You think? No, she said the overdraft charges. I called the bank to get overdraft charges, and I'm having a hard time. Really? That's how they make their money. And somebody in the comments was like, yeah, well, they don't know the laws. You got to go higher up because overdraft charges are illegal. And then she was like, well, what law says that? Needless to say, her comment was not answered. But y'all, I'm telling y'all right now, these crooks been crooking for a long time. Is there a way to get out of some of this stuff? Yes. But I only know, like, for example, I only know of one person who walked in a dealership and walked out with a car free and clear according to the laws. One person who showed proof. And guess what? They didn't say how they did it. They didn't say how they did it. Now, I've seen recordings of other people going into dealerships citing the laws and being kicked out or being told, hey, come back on Monday and we'll see what we can do. But I've never seen it work out for them successfully. So just be careful, y'all. All right? Because none of these people that you see on these social media streets are going to go to court with you or go to arbitration with you or say, you know what, I'll pay the fine. I'll pay the court costs because I'm the one that told them this wrong information. They're not going to do it. All right. Have a good day. Bye, y'all.